3 weeks after my husband of 47 years passed away, I found myself standing in the grocery store crying over a package of his favorite cookies. The well-meaning cashier told me I should try to stay positive and focus on happy memories. I wanted to tell her that grief isn't something you fix with positive thinking. It's something you learn to carry with love. That moment taught me something profound about how our society misunderstands grief, especially as we age. People expect us to get over it quickly, to move on and find closure. But at 72, I've learned that grief doesn't work that way. Loss isn't a problem to solve or a phase to complete. It's a reflection of how deeply we've loved and learning to honor that love while still finding meaning in life. By the time we reach our 60s and beyond, most of us have experienced multiple losses: spouses, siblings, dear friends, parents, sometimes even our own children. We've lost careers that defined us, homes that held decades of memories, and physical abilities we once took for granted. Yet somehow, we're still here, still finding reasons to laugh, still capable of love and purpose. What I've discovered through my own journey with loss is that seniors have unique wisdom about grief that the world desperately needs to hear. We understand that healing doesn't mean forgetting, that moving forward doesn't require leaving love behind, and that strength isn't about not crying. It's about crying when you need to and still choosing to live fully. Today, I'm sharing 5 powerful truths about dealing with loss and grief from a senior perspective, including how to honor your losses while still embracing the life you have left to live. Before we explore the wisdom that comes from loss, let's take a moment to acknowledge the grief you may be carrying and honor the love that creates it. The Honoring Love Through Loss Heart Practice. Sit comfortably and place both hands over your heart. Close your eyes if that feels safe and comforting to you. Take a slow, deep breath and feel your heart beating steadily under your hands. This heart has loved deeply and lost much. It has survived pain that once felt unbearable and continues to beat with capacity for both sorrow and joy. Breathe in appreciation for your heart's incredible resilience. You have grieved losses that broke you open, yet somehow you've continued to love, to care, to find moments of peace and even happiness. Now gently bring to mind someone or something you've lost that still holds a place in your heart. Don't try to push away any sadness that arises. Instead, breathe in the love you still feel for what you've lost. Exhale any guilt about moving forward, any pressure to get over your grief, or any judgment about how long your healing is taking. There is no timeline for love, and therefore no timeline for grief. Take 3 more breaths, each time acknowledging that your grief is a reflection of your capacity to love deeply. This sadness isn't a weakness or a failure to heal. It's proof that you have lived a life filled with meaningful connections. Gratitude for love that endures loss. Here's your grief honoring gratitude practice. Think of these 3 aspects of your experience with loss: one person, relationship, or experience you've lost that you're grateful to have had in your life. One way that experiencing grief has made you more compassionate, wise, or understanding. One source of comfort, strength, or peace that has helped you through difficult times of loss. Write these down or hold them in your awareness. When we can find gratitude even within our grief, we transform our pain into a bridge between love lost and love that continues. Here are 5 powerful truths about grief and loss that I've learned through decades of living, losing, and somehow continuing to find meaning and joy. Truth number 1. Grief doesn't follow a schedule or stages. Forget everything you've heard about the 5 stages of grief or normal timelines for healing. Grief is not linear, predictable, or the same for any 2 people. I still cry sometimes when I hear my husband's favorite song 3 years after his death, and that's not a sign that I'm not healing properly. It's a sign that love doesn't die when someone does. Your grief will come in waves, sometimes gentle and sometimes overwhelming, and all of it is normal. Truth number 2. You can grieve multiple losses simultaneously. As seniors, we often face what experts call cumulative grief, the compounding effect of multiple losses happening close together, or unresolved grief from earlier losses resurfacing. You might be grieving your spouse while also mourning the loss of your independence, your health, or your familiar community. Each loss is valid and deserves acknowledgement, even when they overlap and complicate each other. Truth number 3. Continuing bonds are healthy and natural. Despite what some people might tell you, maintaining an emotional connection to those you've lost isn't an unhealthy attachment. It's love that continues beyond physical presence. I still talk to my husband when I'm making difficult decisions. I still cook his favorite meal on his birthday, and I still feel his presence in our home. These continuing bonds bring comfort and help integrate loss into ongoing life rather than requiring you to let go completely. Truth number 4. Grief can coexist with joy and new experiences. One of the most confusing aspects of grief is learning that you can feel profound sadness and genuine happiness in the same day, sometimes even in the same moment. Laughing at a funny movie doesn't dishonor your husband's memory. Enjoying a beautiful sunset doesn't mean you've forgotten your friend who died. The human heart is large enough to hold both sorrow and joy, and learning to embrace both is part of living fully while grieving. Truth number 5. Loss often reveals what truly matters. While grief is painful, it also has the power to clarify what's truly important in life. After losing my husband, I stopped worrying about having a perfect house and started focusing on meaningful conversations with friends. I quit activities I did out of obligation and invested time in pursuits that brought genuine satisfaction. Loss strips away the superficial and reveals what deserves your remaining time and energy. Dealing with loss often involves significant financial implications that require both practical planning and emotional wisdom about money during grief. The grief-informed financial planning strategy. Major losses often trigger financial changes: reduced household income after a spouse's death, medical expenses from caring for someone with a serious illness, or costs associated with downsizing after losing independence. The key is making financial decisions that honor both your security needs and your emotional well-being during grief. Avoid making major financial decisions during the first year after a significant loss unless absolutely necessary. Grief affects judgment, and decisions made during intense emotional periods often need to be revisited later. If you must make financial choices, consult with trusted advisors and ask for help reviewing important documents. My friend Margaret's widowhood financial journey. Margaret's husband handled all their finances for 40 years. When he died suddenly at 73, she felt overwhelmed by financial responsibilities she'd never managed. Well-meaning family members pressured her to sell their home immediately and move closer to her children. Instead, Margaret hired a fee-only financial planner who specialized in widowhood transitions. Together, they created a plan that allowed her to stay in her home for 2 years while she learned to manage finances and processed her grief. This breathing room prevented hasty decisions that would have caused additional emotional and financial stress. Margaret eventually chose to downsize, but on her timeline and terms rather than during the acute phase of her grief. Practical grief and financial guidelines. Create or update important financial documents while you're healthy: wills, powers of attorney, beneficiary designations, and a list of accounts and passwords. Having these prepared reduces stress during crisis situations. Consider how grief might affect your income and expenses. Widowhood often brings reduced Social Security benefits, while healthcare costs for chronic conditions might increase over time. Plan for these changes before they become urgent. Build a support team that includes both financial and emotional guidance, a financial advisor who understands grief transitions, an attorney familiar with estate issues, and a counselor or support group that addresses the emotional aspects of financial change. Remember, financial security during grief isn't just about having enough money. It's about having the resources and support to make thoughtful decisions that honor both your practical needs and your emotional healing process. Grief affects your body as well as your emotions. These gentle movements can help release physical tension that accumulates during the grieving process and support your overall well-being. The Gentle Grief Release Movement series. Please check with your doctor before starting any exercise routine. 1. Heart-opening breath with arm movement. Sit comfortably and slowly raise your arms to shoulder height as you breathe in, then gently bring them back to your heart as you breathe out. Repeat 8 times. This movement helps release tension in your chest and shoulders while symbolically opening your heart to both grief and healing. 2. Tension release shoulder rolls. Slowly roll your shoulders up, back, and down 8 times, then reverse direction for 8 more rolls. Grief often creates physical tension in the neck and shoulders. This simple movement helps release that accumulated stress while being gentle enough for any fitness level. 3. Grounding foot and ankle movements. While seated, slowly point and flex your feet 10 times, then rotate your ankles in both directions. Finish by pressing your feet firmly into the floor for 10 seconds. These movements help you feel grounded and connected to your body during times when grief might make you feel disconnected or unsteady. 4. Calming side stretches. Sitting tall, gently reach one arm up and over your head, creating a gentle side stretch. Hold for 10 seconds. then repeat on the other side. Do this 5 times each direction. This movement helps relieve tension while encouraging deeper breathing, which can be restricted during emotional stress. 5. Peaceful resting position. End by sitting quietly with both hands resting on your heart or in your lap, taking 5 slow, deep breaths. Focus on sending kindness to yourself and acknowledging that you're taking good care of your body during a difficult time. Remember, these movements are designed to comfort your body during grief, not to achieve fitness goals. Listen to your body and stop if anything causes pain or discomfort. Grief can make you feel disconnected from your physical self. Gentle movement helps restore that connection. Be patient with yourself if you feel emotional during or after these exercises. Your body needs extra care and gentleness during times of loss and healing. Let me show you how to create a simple, meaningful collection of memories that honors those you've lost while providing comfort during your grieving process. Building your memory collection. Step 1. Choose your collection method. Use a simple photo album, a decorative box, a digital folder on your computer, or even a special drawer. The format matters less than creating a designated space for preserving and honoring memories. Choose something that feels comforting and accessible to you. Step 2. Gather different types of memories. Include not just photographs, but also handwritten notes, small meaningful objects, printed emails or text messages, recipes they loved, or even fabric from a favorite piece of clothing. Varied memory types create a richer, more complete tribute to your relationship. Step 3. Include your own reflections. Write short notes about specific memories, what made you laugh together, lessons they taught you, ways they influenced your life, or things you wish you could tell them. Your reflections add personal meaning that photos alone cannot capture. Step 4. Create comfort rituals. Establish gentle rituals around your memory collection, looking through it on birthdays or anniversaries, adding new memories when you discover old letters, or sharing stories from the collection with family members. These rituals provide structure for honoring your grief. Step 5. Include living memories. Add photos or notes about ways you continue to feel their influence in your life, when you use their advice, when you see their traits in grandchildren, or when you encounter something that reminds you of them. This helps integrate continuing bonds into your current life. Step 6. Make it shareable. Consider creating copies or digital versions that you can share with other family members who are also grieving. Sharing memories often brings comfort and helps others process their own grief while keeping loved ones' stories alive. The beautiful result. You'll have a tangible way to honor your loss that provides comfort when grief feels overwhelming and helps preserve important relationships and stories for future generations. Your experience with loss and grief, painful as it has been, represents profound wisdom about love, resilience, and what truly matters in life. The Grief Wisdom Legacy Reflection. Think about this question. What have you learned through your experiences with loss that could provide comfort or guidance to others who are facing similar grief? Your answer contains hard-won wisdom about the nature of love, the reality of loss, and the possibility of finding meaning even in the midst of profound sadness. This understanding is incredibly valuable to others who are struggling with their own grief or who fear future losses. 3 ways to share your grief wisdom. 1. The permission to grieve gift. Your example of grieving in your own way and on your own timeline gives others permission to honor their grief without judgment. When you openly acknowledge that you still miss someone years later, you help others understand that ongoing love for those we've lost is normal and healthy. 2. The both and life teaching. Share with others how you've learned to hold both sadness and joy, both grief and gratitude, both missing someone and appreciating current relationships. This wisdom helps people understand that healing doesn't require choosing between honoring the past and embracing the present. 3. The practical compassion support. Use your experience with loss to provide practical support to others facing similar challenges, helping with funeral arrangements, bringing meals during difficult times, or simply sitting with someone without trying to fix their grief. Your presence and understanding often matter more than advice. This week's Grief Wisdom Challenge. Reach out to someone who is currently dealing with loss, not to give advice, but to offer your presence and understanding. Sometimes just knowing that someone else has walked through similar darkness and emerged with their capacity for love intact provides hope during difficult times. Your journey through grief demonstrates something powerful about human resilience, that we can survive losses that once seemed impossible to bear and still find reasons to be grateful for the love that created our grief in the first place. Tonight's challenge will help you honor your grief while also nurturing your ongoing capacity for peace and connection. The Loving Remembrance Challenge. Before bed tonight, take 10–15 minutes to honor both your grief and your resilience in one of these gentle ways. Light a candle while thinking of someone you've lost, allowing yourself to feel both sadness and gratitude for having known them. Write a short letter to someone you miss, expressing something you wish you could tell them or sharing a recent experience they would have enjoyed. Look through photos or mementos while allowing whatever emotions arise to be present without judgment. Call or text someone who is also grieving this loss, sharing a positive memory or simply checking in with love. Practice one small act of self-care that honors your need for gentleness during your healing process. Spend a few minutes outdoors, appreciating something beautiful while acknowledging that you can feel both grief and wonder simultaneously. Choose whatever feels most meaningful and manageable tonight. The goal isn't to fix your grief or force positive feelings. The goal is to practice holding space for both your love and your loss. If you feel comfortable sharing, come to the comments and write, "Tonight I'm honoring my grief and resilience by specific gentle action." When you share your approach to grief, you help normalize the ongoing nature of love and loss while potentially comforting others on similar journeys. You might find that consciously honoring your grief while also caring for yourself creates a sense of peace and integration that helps you carry your love forward. Remember, your grief is proof of your capacity to love deeply, and that capacity remains intact even as you learn to live with loss. Let's honor what we've learned about dealing with loss and grief from a senior perspective. Grief is not a problem to solve or a phase to complete. It's love that continues beyond physical presence, and learning to carry that love while still living fully is one of life's most profound skills. Your experience with multiple losses has given you unique wisdom about resilience, about what truly matters, and about the human capacity to survive heartbreak and still find reasons for gratitude and connection. Most importantly, your journey through grief demonstrates that healing doesn't mean forgetting. Moving forward doesn't require leaving love behind, and strength isn't about not crying. It is about crying when you need to and still choosing to embrace the life you have left to live. If this message about honoring grief while living fully resonated with your own experience, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from understanding that grief is a reflection of love, not a failure to heal. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we are building a community of people who understand that wisdom often comes through the very experiences we would never choose. Share one thing you have learned through your own experiences with loss that might comfort others facing similar challenges in the comments below. Your wisdom could provide exactly the understanding someone else needs today. Remember, you have survived losses that once felt impossible to bear, and you're still here, still capable of love, still finding moments of peace and even joy. Your grief honors the depth of your love, and your resilience honors the preciousness of the life you continue to live. Until next week, be gentle with yourself, honor your love in whatever form it takes, and remember that carrying grief with grace is one of the most courageous things a human being can do. With deep respect for your journey through love and loss.